when we looked at each other, we would be in tears. It was such a profound, beautiful love that I had never experienced before. And my pattern was always seeing this love outside of myself. I didn't realize that that love was actually within myself. And so experiencing this with this person who activated this level of love within my heart, like this level of love that I never even knew that I had the capacity to love somebody that deeply. And like, it was one of those loves that, like would literally, people around us would just be magnetized into this space, and it was such a powerful, intimate, beautiful love that I'm so grateful and so honored to have had the opportunity to love someone so deeply in this life. And as I was kind of continuing on to my journey, I realized that that person was there to show me, who I was even deeper. Even though there was so much love, I knew that that love was just to activate what I already had within myself.
Welcome to the Bridge Podcast, a podcast featuring heart-centered leaders, artists, healers, speakers, and creatives who are leading a new paradigm through their own personal embodiment. Join us to explore the evolution of humanity that we see happening on our planet and how the intersection of art and humanity may be the key to having a new experience on Earth, as we individually and collectively choose to align with a greater peace, unity, harmony, and unconditional love in our everyday lives. Together, we will explore inspiring, insightful, and healing conversations that tap us into the artist within, empower us to be the conscious creators of our reality, and amplify the world we want to see by coming home to our own divinity. Let's dive in. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Bridge Podcast. I'm so excited for this next series of guests and for our very, very special episode today with the beautiful, radiant, and powerful Christabelle. We met through a community here locally in British Columbia, and her power and her energy and her expression and her femininity and all of it was just captivating. And I was so inspired by her, and I knew I wanted to have her on this podcast, and we talked about it that day that we met, and here we are a couple months later. So I am so excited for you to hear this episode. Christabelle really opens up and gets raw and real and goes deep with some of her recent experiences of grief and just her journey growing up and facing the challenges that come with life, evolution, spirituality, healing, and getting honest with ourselves so that we can truly embody our authenticity in this life. In this episode, we talk about her experience growing up, who we become out of pain and how to grow beyond it, craving attention and looking for love outside of us versus finding it within, going from self-hatred to true self-love, unconditional love and its true power to transform us, moving through grief and love as the only thing that lasts across lifetimes, her experience writing her book and knowing its success before it happened, our connection to the unseen, being awake in the dream, accessing timelines and bringing them into your current field, activating dormant codes in your DNA, emotions as the source of change, and alchemy as one of the most powerful skills to learn and how it saved her life. We also discuss releasing conditioning to access the infinite self, true freedom, and how to magnetize anything we want from that space, learning from inspiration, passion, and joy rather than from problems, the power of living in heart coherence, and the importance of integration within it all. Christabelle Joseph is a visionary leader in conscious transformation, guiding leaders, entrepreneurs, and high performers to break free from limiting patterns, embody their highest selves, and live audaciously. Having personally transcended addiction, deep depression, family dynamics, and toxic relationship cycles, Christabelle knows what it takes to alchemize pain into power. Through the integration mirror method, she helps others dissolve karmic distortions, aligns with divine purpose, and strengthen their intuition. As the founder of an expansive embodiment program, Christabelle has a vision to create communal living spaces around the world to enhance the quality of life and prosperity through conscious living. Those who work with Christabelle experience profound self-liberation, emotional mastery, and the ability to step into their highest calling with clarity, confidence, and abundance. This is truly such a powerful episode, and I am so excited for you to listen. I hope it serves you. Let's get into it. Welcome, Christabelle, to the Bridge Podcast. I am so excited to be sitting down with you today. You are such a radiant being, and your light and your love and your wisdom is so palpable. And I just absolutely adore everything that I see you share. And I know I wanted to have you to have a conversation because I think that you have so much value to share. And you've been through so many things that I think are going to speak to so many people. And you're just really, really special. So I'm really grateful that you're here and that you get to share some of your heart and your journey with these people. For a moment, do you want to just introduce yourself for anybody who doesn't know you? I'm so grateful that you're here.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Wow. Just such an incredible honor to be here in this space. And I just want to, really acknowledge that when we first met, you were talking about this podcast, and now it's
Yeah.
like, I'm just so grateful to be proud of you, and just, so in admiration of your work that goes behind this as well. So thank you for the opportunity and for allowing this to really be created in this space. And yeah, my name is Christabelle. For those that don't know me, I am a global connector. I am an integration space holder, which I'm sure we'll get into in this conversation. I'm the founder of Hype Homes. Hype Homes is an integration space here in Mexico. And I also have the New Earth League, where I am cultivating New Earth leaders around the world and really helping us get into the space of community to share our offers, to share our wisdom, our insights, our codes, and activate them with each other through conversation. And so retreats and programs and all these juiciness of this lifetime, that's what I'm here for.
So amazing. And I am a part of a few of those spaces. I'm so tapped into what you're doing and so grateful for everything that you're choosing to share with this world. And facilitation, I think everything you're doing is so important and so needed. So yes, I want to get into all of it. And to start us off, what was some of your journey like? How did you grow up, or how did you find spirituality and, self-love and all of this? What kind of led you into what's got you to where you are now?
Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, oh, taking me back.
Wherever you want to go.
We're a Catholic Christian, so I actually grew up going to church, altar serving, like the whole thing in the choir. I played piano in the church choirs. Going to church, I always had a certain amount of faith that was there, that I didn't really understand it, because obviously when you're growing up under strict Indian parents, you just kind of do whatever they're doing because you don't want to get in trouble. So there was always this like fear. Everything was like out of fear. Like you're doing things because of like this fear, And so I think like a lot of the time when it came to faith for me, or it came to God, it would be like, oh, I have to pray out of fear, out of like fear the trouble if I don't do this, So I feel like the whole connotation around faith for me growing up was built around this sense of control or like punishment versus love. Right. And so I think through my journey, I kind of disconnected from God for quite some time. And like God meaning like source, universe, spirit, everything that we, want to call it, energy, frequency. And I just really disconnected from myself. And so through my journey, I'm sure you've seen, Chelsea, that I really went down like a kind of a darker path than most, and, really allowed a lot of my what needed to be expressed that could only be expressed through alcohol, sex, drugs, addiction, right? There was this portal of full escapism that I was in, where I had so much anger and so much resentment to who I was based on all the stories that I was told growing up of being a woman, being an Indian woman, and just growing up in a different society, in a different culture, and growing up in Vancouver, Richmond, around people that weren't Indian. And it was, very challenging for me in my upbringing to then get me to this point where I really had this level of self-hatred for just who I was as a woman, as an Indian woman. And so there was so much in my lineage, so much that was kind of stuck, all this anger that I had. And it was like this sacred rage, like Kali kind of energy that it was there, but it was also very like untapped. And so that would only be expressed through like manipulation of men, really what it was. And my energy was tapped into attention, and I craved attention. And that was the only way that I knew how, like, what love was, because the only way that I received attention growing up was through like a man being angry or upset with me. It's obviously my father. And so it was really interesting growing up and seeing this way of like, okay, I have to be bad in order to get attention. And then when you grow up, you realize to be bad is more of like a sexual way of like how you could get attention. And it was almost like my ego was like feeding off of this attention. And it would be like a very like I was like the number one fuckboy in a girl's body. Like it was so
Go on.
and like we totally like honor that version of myself as well.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All we had, like, which was loads of fun for sure, but also loads of trouble that I got myself into all the time because I didn't have that level of protection around myself. Like I wasn't really being safe about anything. I would just go out, party so hard, go meet up with whoever, like anyone, and then just have sex, whatever. And then the next day, just block them, don't even talk to them ever again, and ghost them, and then just continue on with my life, you know? So it was very disconnected from anything. It was very like selfish. It was like just for me to get what I needed. And then, okay, that's it. I'm done. Next. Right. It was just like very predatory, very primal. And
Come on.
raging lioness that was just like
Yeah.
devouring her prey and just then leaving. Okay, next day, you know, after some time of realizing that that wasn't, you know, aligned to really who I am. And it took me, you know, a moment of really coming to this place where I had to tap into unconditional love. I had to tap into love, a love that wasn't from the conditions that I was brought up in. When I say conditional love, right? Like the way that we are raised, the way that we're brought up, the way that we're brought up in society with our parents, whatever it is, it's always like this story that we have to earn love.
Yeah.
And that creates a limitation. And love is the most powerful force of nature in this world. Love is something that is without any limits. You cannot put love into a box. It's like putting an ocean in a cup. You can't. It is so vast. It's boundless. It moves mountains. It is the most potent energy that you can tap into, but it cannot be contained and it cannot be explained. It is something that is without condition. So that unconditional love that we may not have received ever growing up is something to unlearn the conditions and then to actually understand or just feel what that love actually looks like. What does it mean for someone to love you when you're good and bad? What does it mean to not even judge those parts of yourself that may be shamed from society that isn't even your shame, right? What does it mean to actually love every single part of yourself unconditionally, right? And so for me, I had to really learn that. And it took me meeting this woman who actually showed me what unconditional love was for the first time in my life through this job that I was in. It was while I was still drinking. I was still with my toxic ex, and there was still this pattern that I was so deeply stuck in because of course we get addicted to the suffering, we get addicted to the pain. And when I met this woman, she really pulled me into this space where she didn't do anything. She didn't tell me what to do. She literally just held me in unconditional love. And not tell you the power of someone just holding you in that space, no matter what is going on in your life, what you do, what your actions are, to just be held and nurtured in that space. Like I just saw things so differently from there. That was literally the pinnacle of when I got sober. That's when I left my ex-partner. That's when I literally shifted my entire life, was because someone didn't give up on me, saw me fully through all of the mask, all of the armor, all of the layers, and just saw this like inner child, like little girl that just wanted connection and love and was looking for it in all the wrong places and just didn't know, right? And like, if we can see ourselves like that, you know, in this world and see people and humans of just, instead of judging them for their actions or calling them names or saying that like, oh, this person's a fuckboy or a slut or a whore or whatever it is, and see
Mm-hmm.
beneath all the layers and say, man, like I just see this like little boy or this little girl who just is seeking connection and love, right? It's okay. Yeah.
That was so beautifully expressed, and it's everything. Like, I love that we're starting on this note because unconditional love is everything. It's
Hmm.
everything, no matter what we talk about right now, no matter what you go through in your life, no matter what you've been through, it's all about love and it's all about unconditional love. And I just heard something about love being the reward or love being the key. I think it was in the song Heaven's Got a Plan for You or something, or Don't You Worry, Child, whatever that song is, because I was listening to it this morning. That was like my vibe today, and it just felt so good. And there was that lyric about love being the reward, and it just landed for me in a way connected to this podcast and to how I live my life now that, oh, I must be doing something right because my life is so full of love and I've always chosen love. And I
Hmm.
love your story and your journey so much. I mean, it's so different from mine in some ways, but then it's also so similar when it comes to like what we feel inside. And I also, that's what I want to illuminate with this podcast. There's more similar than there is different for all of us, truly, because we're all human. We're all going through this journey together. We're all having this human experience from different points of view and different experiences and circumstances, right? And when we can come back to that heart space and that unconditional love, I mean, what opens up is truly infinite from that place. And, you know, how you shared that unconditional love from somebody else, you know, holding that space for you and not telling you what to do, what you should do, and just being there, that is the transformation. That's where it starts, I believe. Like, that's what we need no matter what, no matter where we're at, no matter what we've been through. We have to start there and we get to truly transform from that place because that is how the universe sees us, right? That is how the universe loves us. And we just grow up with these different programs and experiences and pain, and we start to really distort and think of ourselves in a way that is not natural to who we really are. And oh, I just love all of this. There's so many places I want to go with this. And I love that you brought up the religious piece as well too, because even though I didn't grow up within a strict religion, there was Christianity within my family and my grandparents, and even though I connected with some of it, there was kind of more that I felt called to and things that didn't resonate. And I still had religious trauma from other lifetimes and, you know, lots of layers to all of that. And I've noticed just those layers even now still sometimes come up because it's all just energy. It's all just emotion. It's all moving through us and it's non-linear. We're multidimensional. So it's really interesting to evolve and go through life and notice how these things come when
Hmm.
they do in divine timing, but to have the tools and to have the resources. And maybe that's where I'll take this first. I would love to know, once you started to experience that unconditional love and how that changed your life, what has really helped you stay in that space or connected to that space? What's helped you move through life and emotions and energetics and challenges? Like, what are some of the things that you've really anchored in and taken on for yourself that have continued to support you going forward in your life?
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that and just expressing your heart. I totally I see you and I feel
Mm.
you.
Me
It's
too, sister.
so pure. Just being in this space, I love
Mm.
this like-minded connection where it's just this pure level of love and you just feel it and it's so powerful. It's so powerful. I'm like can feel my body like just being like in so much resonance of it just feels like home, you know? It's like you can't explain it. It's just like, ah, this is nice.
Yes. Arrival, baby. That wholeness, that love. Yeah, we all welcome. You're all welcome. If you're listening, you're welcome. You know, thank you, sister. That was beautiful. I received that. So
Beautiful.
grateful for this moment.
Yeah. Yeah. So thank you for that question. Like, of course, when we first experience this level of unconditional love, it's hard for us to receive because for me, I didn't feel like I was worthy of receiving that love. There was a deep self-worthiness that I needed to kind of like, I mean, I was in a relationship with a very, like an alcoholic and all these things, and he would cheat on me all the time. And so my self-worth was already so low that that's what I thought I was worthy of receiving, was that, like the bare minimum. And I was like, this is great. I love this. Right? Like, no. So once that relationship, I was able to kind of understand like, okay, there may be some things within myself that I need to kind of look at, right? And so I started to just kind of slowly, it's this little girl that has never felt safe in her own body, in her own skin. And I'm slowly trying to like reintroduce myself to like loving her, and she's so scared because I've abandoned her so many times. Rebuilding this level of trust that I wasn't even aware of at the time, of what that really takes for myself to really tap into that level of trust again. I ended up having this really beautiful ceremony that I went to that really ended up cracking me open fully. And I was able to receive so much. And actually, in that ceremony, I saw this man and I had never met him before. And it was just a very powerful connection, which is like the very similar kind of sense of like home. It was the same feeling that I felt when I, met my spirit mom. And there was just like all of these like really key pieces and key pillars in my life. And it just reminded me of just like that unconditional love, that feeling of home, like something I can't explain. There's no logic behind it. There's no evidence. There's no proof. It just is. When like a month later, I end up meeting this man. And it was like this crazy experience where when we looked at each other, we would like be in tears. Like it was such a profound, like beautiful love that I had never experienced before. And my pattern was always seeing this love outside of myself. I didn't realize that that love was actually within myself. And so experiencing this with this person who activated this level of love within my heart, like this level of love that I had never even knew that I had the capacity to love somebody that deeply. And like it was one of those loves that, like would literally people around us would just be magnetized into this space, and it was such a powerful, intimate, beautiful love that I'm so grateful and so honored to have had the opportunity to love someone so deeply in this life. And, like he helped me start my business. He helped me be an entrepreneur. He helped me do so many beautiful things in this lifetime. And when we separated, it was this really crazy activation for both of us because it was attached to both of our core wounds. And so when we shifted that energy and we broke apart, we actually called in our own energy again. And it was so powerful. And so as I was kind of continuing on to my journey, I realized that that person was there to show me, who I was even deeper. And so even though there was so much love, I knew that that love was just to activate what I already had within myself.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the pinnacle moment. This is like flash forward to last year where he reached back out to me and we were talking again, and it felt like, oh my gosh, like maybe, like things can like maybe shift and move together in this space. But there was something in my heart that, he had awareness of his pattern. And it was a beautiful moment for him. He was finally, getting to this realization in his own life. And I was able to kind of just see it as like, this isn't the right timing. And for me to like pull back and just come back into my love for myself, knowing that like he is not where I need him to be, that is resonating with me right now. And just to still love him and to hold him the same way that Sandra held me, Sandra, my spirit mama, sorry, that held me in unconditional love. I was able to hold this man in unconditional love while holding myself in unconditional love, so that he could actually shift out of where he was at. And it was just like this really beautiful, like when you are loved in that space of unconditional love, right? Like every single crevice, every single dark part about a person, all of their shadows, everything. And you just love every single part of it, of them, of who they are. That love can be free. There's no more judgment. There's no more shame. There's no more guilt. None of that even exists in love. And so it was just such a powerful reflection for me of like after that relationship, like I wasn't really intimate with anyone for such a long time, for like over a year basically. And then we were still in like communication. We're still friends, obviously. And then he actually passed away about a month ago. And so that was like the hardest thing I had ever had to process in my entire life. And like having the appreciation of being able to love someone that deeply in this lifetime and have that activated in my own heart in this lifetime, and knowing how pure that love was, even though there was so much drama and chaos and all the other things that came with it, it was like what remains after everything is the love. That love is eternal. That love is the only thing that will last in every single lifetime, no matter what happens. And it was through that love that I was able to like sit with myself and like actually hold that love for myself, because I could feel him. I could feel his energy. I could feel his soul. I could feel his spirit literally sitting on the couch next to me as I'm crying for like a whole month, like not leaving my house, and just like feeling his like radiant love for all parts of me as I'm sitting here eating boxes of pizza, watching every fucking Hunger Games movie
Come
possible,
on.
branch in my fucking belly button, not working out at all, literally like just looking like whatever it was, you know, that gremlin in the closet, and just feeling his love, and then feeling my own love for myself in those moments of like, you are so loved, like just holding that to my heart and knowing that there's no more separation, like that there's nothing lost, like I didn't lose someone, like it was just, you know, we just changed form, and and that connection now with Aaron is like, it is so powerful. Like it is such like the strongest connection that I've ever felt in my world, in my life, in this universe. And I just know that like I'm so taken care of. I'm so protected. I'm so like everything. Like there's nothing that I have to worry about. I know that he is doing so much on that side, moving things, shifting things, holding me. And I've seen it. I've just seen my life completely shift, and just everything that I ever need for what I'm creating, you know? And like through that portal, and this is the thing, is that it may seem tragic, or it may seem like we couldn't find the right timing or anything like that. And there was a moment during that grieving process where, you know, I really saw everything the way that it needed to be, you know. And he gave me this laptop, the laptop that I have right now, like 2 years ago. And it's crazy because a week after he passed away, I was just laying on my couch, and I was just like that whole week was like, I like time like physically stopped for me. Like it was like the same timeless love of when I looked in his eyes, the same thing, you know, of just nothing was real, nothing existed. It was just the connection, that was it. And so I was just meditating. I was meditating on this, and I was like, Aaron, like I don't know what to do. Like I have no idea. Everyone's in Bali or Vancouver, and for some reason I'm isolated in fucking Mexico. And I'm like, why the fuck am I here? I'm like, you know. And then I was like, hey, like I'm going back for the funeral. Like I'm going back to Vancouver for the funeral. He's like, no, don't go any, like you need to be here. He's like, Christabelle, block out everything. Nothing's important right now, like literally. And so I just deleted all my social media. I wasn't, you know, like I wasn't sure what was happening, but I was like, okay, let me just like block out all the noise, because I was using it as like this connection point to him. And I was like, I just need to get away from everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's like, just start writing this book, you know, start writing the greatest love story. But get this, like the love story is not about us, it's you. Like you've always been the love story, you're the love story. And I was like, holy shit, okay. And then I just started seeing, you know, my entire life, like every single person that came into my life that showed me a part of my heart, that showed me who I was to my core, of this essence of just love. And that love was always within me. It was never something outside of who I was. Mm-hmm. And it was this beautiful rekindling of every single moment, every person that activated me, that triggered me, or whatever, was so timely in my life. And this entire book, I sat down for like 4 weeks and just wrote. and didn't leave my house. I showered. I did shower. I just like was in this whole cocoon
Mhm.
of isolation and didn't talk to like anyone during that time and just wrote and watched movies and ate food.
Ah,
That's it. And
ugh.
it's so powerful. The transmission and the codes of pure alchemy.
Mhm.
I say this because like alchemy is one of the top skills to ever learn in this lifetime. And
Mhm.
it is no joke.
Mhm.
Okay. Like, I do not say that lightly. If you are listening to this podcast and you have not tapped into learning or practicing alchemy, this is your sign to find a coach, to find someone to teach you alchemy, because I've been working with my coach for over 2 years and I've been practicing alchemy for over 2 years now.
Mhm.
And that pain that I felt through that process was
Mhm.
the most painful experience I have ever gone through in my life. Like, every single cell in my body was grieving the physical emptiness of what was no longer here in the physical. Like, it was so beyond anything I've ever experienced. Like, and if I had not known how to do that process of feeling something properly, I literally would have killed myself. Like, no joke. I would have been like, this is just too much. Like, I cannot do this, especially being isolated in Mexico.
Mhm.
Like, okay, you know what? Like, I was so grateful to be able to not only just feel that energy of that grief and that love, and knowing that there's no separation between the two, to hold love and to feel grief so deeply just showed me even more of how much love my heart has, how much love that I am, that is never ever going to leave me. That love is always here. And that was able to create, this beautiful book that is now going to, like, literally, I wrote to Aaron last year and I was like, Aaron, like, our love is seriously like going to change, going to heal the world. And he's like, no joke. Yes, like it will, just like full confirmation. And then the message was like, now our love can heal the world. Like, this is what that book is, the transmission of our love. So fucking powerful. So yeah, that has been a whole fucking journey.
I don't even want to say anything in response. I just want to take a moment to honor all of what you shared and this journey that you've been on, because I mean, I've witnessed some of it through social media. And of course, the importance that you talk about in choosing to isolate, not isolate in an unhealthy way, but choosing to cut yourself off from media, from the noise, from life for a moment, and just like really be with the process. Because I've been through my own grief portals and things too. And honest to God, like that is the most powerful thing I think that we can do. And you can, of course, have people be a part of that with you that you trust and feel safe with. But there's something about like when we're going through grief or anything so, where your every cell of your being, like you said, is grieving and you just feel emptied and you feel like almost like you don't exist, because you really are going through a portal into a whole new version of yourself where life is different. You're going up into a new frequency and your whole body is acclimating to that. So it's hard to put to words, but there's also so many different ways that you can not explain it but express it and put it into art and all of these things, right? And we all are going through that in our own way, and I think I'm still learning how to take what I feel and pour it into things and transmute it and alchemize it actively, right? And there's infinite ways to do this. So I'm so grateful that you shared some. I know there's probably so much more, but some of this beautiful transformative journey you've been on. And I'm just holding you in so much love. We're holding you in so much love. And watching you rise in this and in your radiance is also just such a blessing to the world. It's such a blessing to me. It's truly so beautiful and so divine. And I know it is not easy. So I see you, sister, and thank you for your courage and your bravery and your vulnerability, and just being willing to pour your heart out and pour your soul into something that is going to send ripples out into this world and already has in the process. And I really think like that is what we're here for. And that is the bridge between art and humanity. And our life is art. We are art as we transform. And also we get to create things that are an extension of that for other people to receive and experience long after us too, I suppose. Yeah, I want to honor that so, so deeply. Thank you.
Mm.
Mm. Wow. And I really feel like that is going to help so many people just hearing your story and hearing your experience of all of this too.
I feel like, with death, it just brought so much clarity for me. And I want to talk about this code actually. I want to talk about this, like this really deep activation. Briefly, we're talking about it actually online while we were messaging back and forth, but I want to like really dive into it because
Yes.
it was something that got, activated through the actual, death of Aaron. And I know that frequency, it was almost as though he had left certain codes and that they were just within reach. And it was like, you can tap into it. It's like, there was like a moment where it was just open and the veil was like non-existent. And I still don't believe like there's any separation anymore because it's so connected.
Yeah.
But that frequency that was left, there was like a couple of them. It was like one was like this external validation, and the other was like this sense of wholeness. So when Aaron passed, I realized that there was like just full, transparent connection. Like there wasn't any, like I used to always think there was still like a layer to get, through that veil or whatever it was. And now I don't see that. I have full access to that side, which is really interesting. And like also, like I know where he is. Like he's just home. He's exactly where I saw in the ayahuasca ceremony. It was like very, oh, of course, like that's where you are. That's where we're all from. And one of the biggest things that kind of came to me was like I got this message a couple months ago, and this guy he's very smart. He's a scientist, just like very incredible, and about consciousness. So he goes into like consciousness and goes into like expeditions, all this kind of stuff. Very cool person. Anyway, so he said this life is like a dream, right? He always talks about how like this life is like our world is a dream, right?
Yeah.
Like lucid dreaming, basically, when we wake up and we realize that like, oh, this is actually not real. None of this is real, right?
Mm-hmm.
The same thing, Aaron kind of reminded me of that again. And it was kind of like from this space of like, wait, how do we access the dream? If we are the dreamers and this is the dream, then how do we actually start to, create what we want from this like awakening, basically, right? And I was kind of tapping into it and I was like, oh my gosh, it's literally unconditional love.
Yeah.
It's like when we realize, like, like we were talking about at the beginning of this call too, but, when we let go of all the conditioning of everything, that's all the limitations are finally gone, right? There's nothing. You're able to tap into this level of unconditional love. That is the frequency of the dream. And when you can tap into that frequency, you can literally get whatever you want because it's coming from that match of resonance of unconditional love.
Right.
And that is like the key code of this life, is that when we are purely in that space, everything just becomes like we can just magnetize and attract whatever it is that we desire because it's from the same frequency. The universe knows this one language, right? And it's consistency. We're consistently in this space. We're consistently connected to this. And we realize, wait, like that is the connection to source. That is the connection to God. So we are then able to activate that code, not only within ourselves, but we're also able to like bring that code into the physical and be activated as we weave through our day. And like, because that connection now with Aaron is so strong, what else can I access? If I can access so deeply and closely, like it's literally like he's been here this entire conversation. Like I can just feel him. I sense him. I can hear his laughter. I can like literally, it's so close, it's so connected. And I'm like, all right, like then I can also tap into timelines. Okay, so if I can tap into timelines now that haven't yet physically been in this timeline yet, I can actually access the codes of energy that are locked into those timelines, and I can bring them into this field. And so I'm like shifting frequencies, just allowing it to then connect and meet me where I am, right? So I've already seen the timeline where this book is completely published and I'm speaking around the world. Like I've seen it. I don't know it in my body. Like not like coming from ego of like, oh my gosh, it's like, no, like the contribution and energy of this book has its own, right? Like it's going to do so much. And I've seen the power of this book. I've felt it into my core. And it's almost like it gave me that lens of like not just purpose, but when I completed that book, it was like, oh, like that's why I was born. It was just like, oh, okay, like just seeing all of my patterns. So like this is the code of wholeness. I was looking at my life, and as I was sharing all these stories about my life in this book, I like reached this part after talking about Aaron's death. And I was just like, okay, interesting. Like I'm seeing all of these patterns of lessons and cool moments of like, wow, you broke through this and you got through this and you moved through this, and wow, like fucking superwoman, so strong, and all these things, and I'm just like, why do I keep creating those things to break through? Right. And so there was this thing in my head, the story of like, oh, like there's more lessons, there's more things to learn. I'm constantly learning. I love to learn. There are no more lessons. It was like this moment of like, wait a minute, if I am loving to learn and loving lessons, what am I creating in my field? More things to get through, to learn the lesson, to keep trudging forward, right? I don't want any more challenges, right? But I keep creating them from this story of like, wait, there's more. Wait, there's more. Wait, I'm not done. I don't feel complete. I don't feel whole, right? There's like this lack of knowledge, lack of insight, lack of wisdom. No, like none of that anymore. So it was like this like really beautiful completion moment where this is the code of like, I don't need anything more. I don't need to learn anymore. Not from a place of ego, but I have everything that I need within myself. I don't have to, read like another book, whatever it is. Like not from a place of lack, right? From a place of like inspiration, or from a place of passion,
Yeah.
right? But
Yes.
not from this place of I'm going to get something that I don't already have,
Right.
because this is our DNA holds all of our codes already and
Mm-hmm.
need to be activated. So this frequency right now, even for those that are listening, it is just a frequency that is going to activate what is dormant in your DNA.
Mm-hmm.
It's more times that you're around this frequency, the more consistently you're around it, your DNA is going to start to wake up. It's going
Yeah.
to activate it. And as you can tell, obviously in the collective right now, everyone's waking the fuck up, but not in a pretty way, not in like a fun way, in a very like activating, polarizing kind of way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And what's shifting now, because when our subconscious feels like something is changing around us that isn't connected to what we think we know,
Mm-hmm.
we think of it as a threat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Feel like it's a threat and it's attacking. What are we holding on to? What is it that we value that we're holding on to, right? Condition, it's a limitation, it's a belief. And
Mm-hmm.
so if someone is doing something outside of what we know, we immediately judge it. We immediately, throw shade at it. But in reality, it's just allowing us to question something within ourselves of why we believe a certain thing, because of whose is it? Whose voice is it anyway, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
far back does this go? And how can I sit with this and look at this from the lens of like acceptance and compassion and love, and just being like, wow, that is so epic that that person is doing this or wearing that outfit or whatever it is, right? Instead of feeling like threatened, right? It's a very normal thing to feel that threat, but at the same time, that threat is an illusion. It's not real. We're not in danger. It's our ego trying to hold on to what it thinks it knows.
Yeah.
When we let go of that, when we're able to actually release that, then we're able to just receive fully whole, like the wholeness of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Allow it to be expressed through us, and respond to life and have conversations with life and communicate with life and start playing with this like feedback loop of life, right? And that is where we get to actually play with this world that has just been so, given to us, where we get to experience these things. Like, this is the only place that I'm going to have a physical body and like be able to like run around and like jump and whatever. And I'm just grateful I look so hot, in this like that's fucking awesome.
That's so good. That's so good. It's all so good. This is a whole TED Talk. I'm obsessed. Maybe I'll call it a bridge talk.
Yes.
I love it. Oh my goodness. Thank you for all of that. So powerful, so activating. And just to touch on the energetics piece and frequency, that is truly, I'm so passionate about energetics and frequency. And that is what I've discovered on my journey too, to be the magic sauce. It's you tap into a frequency and everything changes. Everything exists on a frequency plane. And so if you're not happy or satisfied or inspired or anything, you're not clear, you're confused, you're in a bunch of shadows, like it's just a frequency. And it's so important to talk about this because our stories, when they're up and there's emotions that are unprocessed, can feel so real and can be really destructive, as you touched on some of that before too. And when we actually know that, like when we really know that, that awareness is so powerful and can change your whole life, because then no matter what you're feeling, you can decide, okay, first of all, with awareness of what's going on right now, I can decide what I want to feel instead. And then you just get to build your bridge. How do you want to get there? How do you want to shift? How do you like to shift? What works for you? What doesn't work for you? And that is basically the life journey. But it's also so powerful what you said about coming to that place of wholeness, of source, of unconditional love, how this whole thing works. You are here to be a creator. And when we become conscious of the fact that we can create what we prefer and what we want to experience, oh, everything changes. It's so good. And not learning from the place of lack, not learning from a place of fear. I know I went through those phases too, of feeling like I always had to have something outside of me to gather this. And it's fine, because it is awakening that within you, with the remembrance, the connection to those things. And anything can activate you and inspire you. But again, why are you doing it? What's the place you're doing it from? Which you said so beautifully. And I have also experienced that shift where before I do anything, I come back to that wholeness within myself. I'll meditate, I'll recenter, I'll ground myself, and I'll remember that I'm the one in charge. I'm the magic wand. I'm the bridge. Like I actually have so much power. And then what inspires me, and I follow the frequency, like you said. And when you choose to become who you really are and be that unconditional love that gets to flow through this human being and this human experience, then it's fun. Then it's like, I said this last night on a recording with someone else. I was like, now from that place, I'm excited to pursue musical theater. Now from that place, I'm excited to write a book or do this or that. And there was a time where I thought I wasn't going to do any of that. I gave it all up because I just could not land in something that felt true to what I had now learned with spirituality and with healing. And so those worlds all felt disconnected and separate, and they're not. They never were. It's just that I was in a belief that wasn't serving me, and I was limiting my infinite self because of programming, like you said. So that, I mean, that there's so many layers to that. It's such a deep conversation, but it also can be so simple. Like what we're talking about right now is just choosing a frequency that you want to exist on, choosing where you want to play, getting to experience this body the way that you want it to, because this whole reality is a mirror, and you get to play in that feedback loop truly. And I'm so happy that you touched on that. And to ground it in even more for anybody who's newer to this or just wants to deepen their practice or their way of living in connection with this energy, how would you share what's worked for you as far as integration? Because I know that you've talked about that or you mentioned it at the beginning, and I would love to talk about integration a little bit. What is that process like? What can help with integration, like in real time when you're learning how to do that or receiving that way of living, whatever you want to say about it. I'm really curious your experience.
Yeah, thank you for bringing the conversation into integration, because that is the most important thing of all time, right? Like we can know things, and I think that, just for those that are listening as well, is like, there is this part of us that's like constantly wanting to know more, which is our ego, know more things. But that's great to know, but how do we actually start to live and like embody these things, right? It's like going to church every weekend, but then you still fight all the time. You can say all these things or do yoga or meditate or whatever, but in these moments, so what really works for me when it comes to integration is, I practice heart coherence. Heart coherence is like from the Heart Math Institution, and it's something I deeply, deeply, deeply encourage those who have not done something like this or practice anything like this. It's something that my coach taught me years ago, and I teach it to my clients. Like it's so powerful because it connects you to your heart and mind become, this one symbiotic relationship of giving and receiving. And so what usually happens as humans is that we actually feel first, and our emotions inspire our thoughts, and our thoughts inspire our actions. Usually is that we don't process a lower density emotion, and we end up reacting when we feel that initial emotion. So angry if someone flips you off, immediate, you're feeling angry. Okay, your thoughts are like, fuck this guy, I'm going to explode, basically. And then you react to the situation. But when you're able to see, like, okay, I'm feeling anger, okay, I can feel it. So you start to actually connect to your heart space. You start breathing into your heart, creating this space for the anger to be felt, realizing that the emotion just needs is just energy. So by feeling it fully, it takes 90 seconds to feel an emotion. When you're able to feel the emotion, it's then processed. And now it's separated or detached. You're detached from the emotion and it's just energy. And now this energy can't be destroyed, so energy has to move somewhere. So now from this space of being able to detach from the anger and hold it's almost like a sponge, right? So we like drain the sponge of like the sponge is the anger, drain it out. What's left is energy. And now this water needs to go somewhere, and there's all these different sponges with all these different emotions, and you can choose, okay, like I actually want to feel safe, or I want to feel grounded, or I want to feel at peace. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
sponge and dip it into this energy. And now I have this whole, energy of peace that I can feel within me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now I can start using this energy to create and take action from this space of alignment with this peace, right? So if we think, it's interesting because there's this way of like emotional perspective that I really practice with my clients, and it gives this level of perspective, right? When we just like create, like it'll show us like how we create a story, right? How we create actions from like, the feeling is everything. What does it mean to feel angry? If we ask ourselves, like, how am I acting to feel this anger, right? You'll see yourself. And I'll use this example of, say, there's this fear that your partner is cheating on you or whatever it is, right? And there's like this anxiety that you're feeling, right? Or like distrust. So you feel that distrust, you feel it, you don't bypass it, you feel it, and then you see how you're acting to feel that energy. You're like, oh, checking his phone or doing this, asking him so many questions and blah, blah, blah. And you're operating from a place of just,
Yeah.
but when you shift that into, okay, like I actually want to feel safe, or I want to feel like, full trust, right? And you feel that, and then you see how you act from that space, and you're like, oh, like I'm actually just enjoying a nice meal with him and talking to him about his day, right? So it's a completely different energy that is
Mm-hmm.
all coming back to the source, which is the emotion. And our emotions we can actually change when we have emotional resilience around them. How I integrate this in my daily life is that heart coherence is a way of being. It's not a way of doing, it's not a breathing practice or technique. It is, but it's also something of just a way to just develop your breathing, of breathing past the shallowness of how we normally breathe deeper into our chest and deeper into our heart space. We're able to respond to the universe of what's happening. And it doesn't mean that, like, if you break your nail or whatever, you're not going to like scream or whatever it is, there is this detachment from the story, and you just
Mm-hmm.
experience it in that moment, and then it's complete, and then it's the next thing. So it's just living as presently as possible so that you are able to openly receive and express wholly and fully, and then allow the next thing to move through.
Mm-hmm.
That's the integration of what that looks like, without any judgment, and just with acknowledgement, acceptance, and love.
Yeah, I love talking about acceptance because it is the thing that's changed my life in really big moments and really small moments. Like if you're not accepting something, you can't even change it because what you resist persists, right? It's a law of the universe.
Mm,
And I actually talk about this sometimes in numerology. Number 6 is the bridge, and it
mm,
bridges us into higher wisdom and peace and that trust and that surrender. But in order to make that shift, the 6 blocked is judgment. And
mm,
so in order
mm,
to shift that, you have to actually accept and open up to new possibilities and then bring in those higher level questions that open you up to something new. And so I learned that first through numerology, and then I started to deepen and master my practice of that through my own understanding of those energetics. And then it has just changed everything because no matter what comes up, no matter what's happening in your life, if you feel a judgment, if you feel resistance, if you feel these negatively charged emotions that are just, it's not that they're negative, but they can be destructive or they can be channeled to serve us in
mm,
really beautiful ways. And when we have acceptance and we see the value and the wisdom that's within them and what they are trying to show us or just helping us move into or transmute that energy and alchemize it into art or again, whatever it is for you, it changes everything. And I
Mhm.
always remind myself of that. If I just need a moment, really, when anything comes up, my integration practice is most commonly to meditate, to just lay down and to listen and to close my eyes and to breathe and to connect with my body and let whatever comes through comes through. Because that's
Oh,
also the beauty of being human. And then sometimes it's going in the sauna or it's moving my body or it's dancing. It could just be getting on a podcast. I don't know. But really, life itself can be the alchemy, life itself can be the integration. I think really the key is to have the awareness that you can do that no matter where you are, that you can choose to be more present no matter what's going on in your life, because it's going to help you, it's going to change your experience, and then that will also ripple out to other people, which is the power that we all have when we choose to be more present, because that's when we're in our hearts and that's where we're
exactly.
connected to everybody else.
One more part to that from
Hmm.
what you just said, which is so beautiful, is whatever is not love is not real. Everything that is in the placement of the frequency of love, that is the only thing that actually is true. And so nothing else, fear doesn't even exist. Like all of these things is just a disconnection. Fear is literally, the definition of fear is disconnection from God, disconnection from self, from source. So when we connect, it's just the reminder, all these lower frequencies or whatever they are, the anger, the grief, or whatever, it's just to remind you that you're not connected. And so it's to connect back to yourself so that you can ground back into, okay, hold on, that's not actually what that is. What is real, right? What is right now? What is in this moment, right? I had a client that was stressed about, like, oh my gosh, like can't find a new place to move into, and it's 8 days from now. I'm like, okay, let's tap into it. What's real right now? You have a place over your head. Tap into that frequency, right? You have it. It's already here, right?
Hmm.
We're talking about something, it's the manifestation of the fear that's going to play out, right? Versus the manifestation of you already have it. It's right here. Everything around you is actually supporting the evidence that you are already safe,
Right.
right? And so get into that present moment of what that is and then see what comes into the field to match that, right?
Yeah.
But if we're operating from a place of fear, we're actually creating that reality for us without even realizing it. So exactly what Chelsea said, just like be when you were able to ground back into that present, whatever it is, whether it's a dance or song or play or you
Hmm.
know, around or doing a workout or shaking that booty or whatever it is, like just
Yeah.
really being present in that moment and allowing it to be expressed through you, right? And being
Hmm.
felt fully. Because
Yeah.
emotions are literal portals. Emotions
Hmm.
literal portals. And when we can actually feel the emotion, we can see what is hidden under the emotion of how we actually desire to feel.
Yeah, honestly, the most important thing is your awareness and your choice in the moment of what frequency you want to tap into, because if we don't do that, what are we following? What are we allowing to just be playing out? What are we participating in? Is it conscious or unconscious, right? Like being more intentional about how you're choosing to show up to life and how you choose to feel and what you want to bring into spaces and all of that. It can be uncomfortable at first, but I love what you said about fear, because it's false evidence appearing real. It's literally an illusion. It doesn't mean we don't feel it. It doesn't mean it's not valid that you can feel it and have an experience with it, for sure. And then we can,
Mm-hmm.
amplify that and make it bigger than it is. Absolutely. But that's just because we don't understand our power to actually shift into what it's inviting us into. Fear is like your greatest teacher and partner in awakening and alchemy and love.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so powerful, and you described it so beautifully. And even it's a great reminder for me, because where I am right now and with certain things in my life, with money or different things, and what I've actively been doing is, and I feel like the universe has been teaching me this for like a couple of years now, like truly deeper and deeper, just being here right now, because it's the only thing that's real. And your frequency in the now is what you're drawing in and connecting to. And
Mm-hmm.
so being able to be present is not only going to bring up all the things that take you out of the present moment in order to feel and process and alchemize, but it's also going to show you and awaken your awareness even more that everything, infinite abundance, is here right now, and start to see what
Mm-hmm.
around you. Like, I am fully provided for, I'm fully supported, I have literally everything I need and more.
Mm-hmm.
And energetically, I mean, this is all a reflection of that energetics as well, that I've come into alignment with, and belief and worthiness and wholeness and all of that. And I'm always such a giver, so I'm always like pouring and pouring and pouring, and sometimes I think that I need more than I actually do, and I need to remember to just surrender and receive what's already here. And as soon as I balance and feel that coherence again, then new things come into the field, then new nourishment comes in. It's like I don't actually need to know about next week. I don't need to know
Yeah,
about
totally.
this and that because like you said about your book, I know that I'm a multi-billionaire. I know the timelines that are possible and that are here for me. And all of that said, I'm here right now. And who
Exactly.
am I right now? Because no matter where I go, I'm taking myself. So I'd rather work on who I am and be even more integrated in what I know to be true so that I can experience those things as who I truly am, because that is where the frickin' juice is and the pleasure and everything. Like, we are so abundant. And it's not just outside of you, it's actually you who is bringing that in and connecting. And there's a version of you that exists with that reality. And that's what you really want. So,
Exactly. So beautifully said. And like we can call in whatever we want, right? And if it's like, it doesn't even be for anything other than just us wholeheartedly trusting and believing that this is exactly like, I'm so worthy of this, you know, of like receiving this level of pleasure or the spa day or whatever it is to take care of myself so that I can
yeah.
contribute and deepen into my service, right? I was like, how am I supposed to pay $3,000 for this book and all this stuff and all this money and all these things? And I'm just like, I don't know. It's not up to me to figure that out. Like, I
Let
don't
me
care.
know, universe.
Literally, it doesn't matter. Like for me,
For
I'm
real.
like it already is a thing. So like deposits done, all this is done, and I took action on that. Like
Yeah.
not fear of, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to pay for whatever if I spend this. It's like no,
Mm-hmm.
I already know that this is where this needs to go. If we don't trust money, money can't trust us. So we have to trust that if every single cell in our body that yes, this is going towards something that I know is going to shift so much. And I also know that I'm going to receive everything and more for everything that I need. Tripled my income in like 3 months of me coming to Mexico. And that was like a huge scarcity shift for me because I was in this space of like paying like $600 for my rent and like just very frugally living and very scared of paying money for things, you know, and being in this like little bubble. And then now it's like genuinely know that I have everything I need and more. Like
Yeah.
money not an issue. So I
Yeah.
just spend freely and fully and I enjoy every experience of where that money is going. I
Right.
gratefully send that money because I'm
Yeah.
like, I know where it's going and this is exciting. And I
Mm-hmm.
eat out a lot. Like I order in food and
I
meals and
love it. Yes. Because joy. Hello. If you're inspired.
yeah, and
Yeah.
it's like healthy foods, it's nourishing foods, and nourishing meals.
Yeah.
Great. Like I love it. I love being healthy and I love taking care of my body so that I have energy, so that I can serve
Mm-hmm.
and do more. I can be, you know, in my presence. So there's so much around that. And it comes back to just like your inner trust when it comes to money. I think that's the biggest thing is like, okay, like you call in money for this. Do I feel worthy of spending money on this? Of course, I'm going to, you know, get my hair done or have a spa day or whatever it is. And I'll also have money for all of these other things as well.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's just like a part of that package of like what allows me to feel what I need to feel to contribute further and deeper into service.
Yes, yes, yes. And the little pleasures of life, you know, when I was in really difficult seasons of inner transformation and grief, I was invited into, again, the simple pleasures of every day, the simple, how can I, because I was in this pattern of being so outside of my body or what's the next thing and feeling pressure to have things figured out or and I didn't even realize that that was more of a program rather than who I actually am. I love to create and do things and show up. Like I do love that, but I was very much neglecting a lot of the feminine side of myself and what I really needed to receive because I didn't feel like there was space to really receive it. And then there was, so much emotion and so much distortion that happened when it came to my expression because the balance wasn't there, the awareness wasn't there. And again, there are so many layers to the masculine
Totally.
and feminine energies in ourselves and how we learn and relate and express in life and experience the relationships and our upbringing with our parents and just all of it, right? And it's beautiful because we're the ones that I believe chose all those experiences to give us the key codes to have the most delicious life experience. So you're still the creator, you're still in charge, and you're just remembering that, which is a superpower. And I don't know where I was going to take this. Oh, yeah, just the really, really being able to lean in and receive what you're truly worthy of, which is everything, and the things you desire are not coincidence. Like those are meant to be experiences for you. And it's not just an experience that you're looking for. It's actually you. It's a version of
Mhm.
you coded into that experience, right? It's a dynamic with life that you want to be in. And I
Mhm.
did want to ask you, because we talked about worthiness a little bit, and I know you mentioned the unconditional love, and we talked about that and the alchemy, but I want to ask you if there's anything else that you would say when it comes to worthiness, and someone listening to this that's like, okay, this all sounds great. I resonate with this. Like, I know this is true. I can feel it, but I still don't feel worthy. And I don't
Mhm.
know how to get myself to a place of really feeling worthy and then taking action, especially if things around you or people around you maybe are still treating you differently or talking to you differently and not supporting that process of worthiness. What would you say to people to help them really, really
Mhm.
come into that worthiness within themselves?
Totally. Yeah, this is a great question. And I think this is like a two-folded kind of question. There's one for like people that, are just kind of like getting into the swing of it, because there is just like affirmations. Honestly, like I know it sounds so like cliche or whatever, but like
Mm,
say my affirmations like every morning, but it's just like now I have more fun with them obviously, but it's more like with the wordplay and just being way more intentional with the words that I'm expressing. But I
mm,
think affirmations in the morning of no, like I don't need to earn to receive. I am fully in receivership and worthy of receiving all. I am fully loved and I fully feel that from God, from source, from creator, from myself. Right,
yes, yes, yes.
just like really stepping into just like saying these things out loud and being in the present moment of the words that you're saying and actually feeling the potency of them. And,
Mm,
going back into like that heart coherence thing of if what does that look like? Okay, to feel love for myself. What are those actions, right? What is that action that's going to align to me loving myself right now, to me feeling worthy, right? And then I'll start slowly aligning those actions to the feeling of you feeling
mhm,
worthy, right? Not focusing on, okay, I don't feel worthy right now. What is that feeling of worthiness and what are the actions that are going to align to that, right? And show yourself what that looks like for you. It's going to look different for everyone for sure.
mhm.
And it's just a practice, right? It takes time because your body's in resistance. That would be like the preliminary step. And then obviously I would suggest, like for me, it was I do this with my clients as well, like the father and mother wound, like the big transformation. And I think that's where a lot of us actually hold on to that self-worth rooted in our mother or father wound. And
Yeah.
being able to actually shift that and transform that allows you to actually understand, have hold that level of compassion and acceptance for our parents and acknowledgement, and not take any of those stories that have, really held on to our meaning of what our self-worth is, right?
Mhm.
I think that's like the next step.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm so glad that you mentioned that. I really do believe because we learn so much about life, our relationship to life and source and others through our mom and our dad and whoever raised you, and also through authority figures because then we filter everything through what we learn for those developmental years, and we do have to unlearn those things. We do have to illuminate them and really see, where does this come from and is this true for me and did I choose this and does this feel good? Does this feel nourishing and honoring to me? Because we are all individual souls with a completely unique experience and timeline. And you really do have to find what works for you. And the world supports that in some ways, but not holistically the way that we really need. So I love what you said. And I would say the same things, especially with affirmations, you can play with words until you find something that feels really good. And
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to plaster on affirmations that don't resonate with you. You can actually start where you are and find one that feels a little bit more true for you. Like take one that you want to be true and then bring it down to, where you are and do the next step and the next step and the next step. So your body can really believe it. Your nervous system can believe it. And like you said, take the actions that that version of you who feels that way would take because it really does work. And you're kind of collapsing time, right, to bring that experience to you. And it's all about the actual mind, body, nervous system connection because how you feel in the moment is going to tell you a lot about how well you're doing and where you are, and really checking in with that part of you that's deep in your center that knows, right? Your heart always knows. And that coherence, sometimes we just need to connect into the body and the heart. I mean, not sometimes, always, right? And come back to that center point as our place to start, and then move from that place. And even just the question of, what does a life living in my heart look like for me? I don't know how many people have asked themselves that question. That could be a whole wake up call for some people too.
Beautiful. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, well, I love this. I love the co-creation that we have in this space. And for some reason, mindset is coming through. And I think maybe just to connect it into what we were just talking about, like mindset is so important, and what you believe and what you choose to see, like your perception of the world, that is so deeply connected to the body and to how we feel and to our choices and our actions. And it's all connected. And like you said before, we feel things and that influences our thoughts. And the way to kind of shortcut it is to
Mhm.
go to the feeling and go to the frequency. And it's really, you're not bypassing anything. You're actually getting to what's real, and you're getting to the roots. So, yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, so powerful. Oh my gosh.
I would love to ask you about the things that you are offering and working on in the world, and to just share a little bit about what brought you into that and your unique way of serving people, and why it lights you up, and just share that for people to hear and to receive, and maybe they'll resonate with it too.
Totally. Yeah. Thank you so much for offering this in this space. Yeah. So I've been doing one-on-one coaching with people to help them with their transformation. So we do go through the mother and father wound. We go through alchemy. We go through the feedback loop. We go through really getting in touch with your energy, really raising your frequency, your vibration, getting out of suffering. I don't believe in karma. I believe that, that it is an illusion of karma, or an illusion that we have to suffer in this world. And, when we're able to actually shift out of that and come into this place of wholeness, come into this place of completion, and start creating from this space of overflow and contribution. And so I help people. It's a 7-month program that I actually offer. And it's honestly, it's not coaching, right? It's more of this like guidance or mirror of you figuring it out, but me holding space for you to actually discover, parts of yourself through the process. And so it's something that I truly, really believe in when it comes to any kind of program or whatever, is like, you're the one that is actually on the other side, that's seeing yourself through how I see you. And, having someone, it was almost like, the way Sandra saw me and held space for me in unconditional love. That was how I was able to shift. She didn't tell me what to do. She didn't do anything other than just be and reflect and mirror things for me, so I could see myself deeper.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I operate in that field. And I also offer like one-on-one, just one-off sessions as an activation session for you to heal if there's things coming up for you, not heal, but to just like come back to yourself basically. And, people have had really awesome experiences where there's been like pain stuck in their back or their shoulders or their lower back, like different aching points. And they've had like complete shifts of that pain in their body through doing some of this alchemy process through a session. So anyone, I'm more than happy to walk you through that. And we have a retreat coming up in June, which I'm really excited about. And yeah, it's just, these things are just, it just feels easy for me, like I feel so grateful and so blessed that I have received so much in my lifetime, to have experienced what I have experienced with like, the parents and, dysregulated nervous system and anxiety and depression, suicide, addiction, all these different things, grief. And, to be able to come to this other side now, it's like, wow, like I can literally see everyone and just see like a part of myself in them almost. And I think it's like that confidence and that certainty that I have of, wow, like I feel like if I was able to get here from where I was, I can literally help so many people, and it's like, it's just such a gift, right? Like I'm so grateful to have experienced this life in fullness, in full passion of every single part of it, to have gone through the depths of every part to come to where I am now, so that I can share the wisdom, I can share the codes, I can share the insights, right? And reflect it back for you. So such an epic, way to live my life, and something that, has been created through even the book. So I'm excited about the book too. That'll be out in the next coming months. So whenever this is launched, hopefully it will be around that time. But forward to connecting with more people just through like walks of life, and co-creation, whatever that looks like. I feel like I'm at this place right now where I feel very complete and just open to receiving whatever, is meant to come through into my field.
So beautiful. What a beautiful place to be. And just honoring and celebrating you in all of this. And it's so important. I resonate so deeply. It's my favorite work. I not only have experienced it in my own life, but with others as well, how we can shift our body through the emotional alchemy and having a space to not be told what to do or even coached or guided, because I don't really believe that we need that. Sure, if there's something you specifically want to do and there's a coach for that, like that can be valuable. Don't get me wrong. But having somebody be there to help you remember that you are your own guide and you have the wisdom and you have the answers. And sometimes we really just need the space to calm down, to breathe, to come to the present moment, to remember what it is that we feel that we started pushing away and stopped listening to a long time ago, letting all that come up in a safe space where it's all welcome and you are just met in love and infinite possibility and, your light and your potential. And we all deserve that. We truly all deserve that. And so I highly recommend to anybody, whether it's Christabelle or I or anybody else, to find someone you resonate with and to connect with them because you're worth it. And we all need that love and that space and those mirrors sometimes. And it makes life so, so, so beautiful. So thank you for sharing all of that. And I'm so excited for the things that you're doing and sharing. And I will be watching and waiting and celebrating you for sure. And is there anything else that you want to share or speak to that's on your heart right now before I ask you the final question?
Yeah, I feel like, yeah, I just really want people to know that they're not alone. Like, you're not alone. If you're listening to this and you're working through something, you're moving through something, and you're feeling like you just can't catch a break, and you just feel like you're stuck, or like, it's like, why do these things keep happening to me? And you're in this like portal of, okay, like I'm aware of it and I see it. Know that there is another perspective. Know that there is something else that's there and you have the answers to everything,
Yeah.
right? There's so much noise out there, so much noise. And sometimes the best thing is to just get into peace, get into stillness, and listen to that inner voice. Listen to your connection. We all have it. So that's something that I just wanted to put out there as well.
So beautiful. And this is coming through too in connection to that is when someone is really in a shadow or really struggling in some of the things you mentioned or their own version of something. Is there anything that really helped you in those times, in those moments that helped you keep going or helped you believe that there was another way? I know you mentioned unconditional love was a huge piece of that, but is there anything like from someone who knows what it's like to be in the depths? What would you say to help somebody who's just really, really having a hard time?
Yeah, I think like understanding that everything is temporary,
Mm,
that just knowing that it is a season, it's not a life, right?
yeah.
There will be a light at the end of that tunnel, right? And it's not a forever thing. Like darkness is only the absorption of light.
Hmm.
And so if we know that, we understand that scientifically, that is the real facts of darkness.
Real. It's real.
Real news. It's real news.
Real news. It's science. Yeah.
So if we understand that concept and we're going through a really dark time, it is inevitable that we will find a light.
Mm.
Inevitable. So
Ugh. Wow. Both of your final statements on here have been so perfect and just delicious. And I'm still going to ask you the final question to see what comes through. So for me, the bridge is being able to be an artist of the world that we want to see. And everyone I bring on here, I ask this question for your perspective. And one, do you believe that your embodiment can change the world? And if so, what would you want to say to the world right now, broadcast out from your experience and your embodiment of that world that you want to see?
wow. So much. Oh my gosh. You are so loved. Whoever is listening to this, you are so loved. I see you. I hear you. I'm with you. I've been there. I understand that life may not be the easiest thing, but we can choose how we want to show up for life, right? We get to choose. This
Hmm.
is so short, so fucking short. It is literally a blink of an eye in actual eternity of how long we are here. And it is meant to be enjoyed. It is meant to be fun. It is meant to be experienced. Every single part of this journey is meant to be full-heartedly experienced and passionately discovered and erotically explored. Like, really dive into every single moment with this full power, full passion. And that is my message to you that's listening, is that really take life by the horns and just ride that bitch out.
Let's go. Ride that bitch. For real though, like I couldn't have said it better.
Yeah,
So
don't
good.
Mike ever.
Center stage. That is the message. Take it by the reins and ride that bitch. It's so true. Make the most of your life in every delicious moment. Wear all the essential oils, change your fashion, eat what you want, be kind to people, create shit. Who cares what you do with it or if anyone likes it? Just do it for you. Let yourself have new experiences, change things up. You are never stuck in one box. You are not limited. And if it feels like you are and you're afraid to shift, be gentle with yourself, be kind to yourself, one step at a time. Like, it's all perfect and you're so loved and you're so guided and you're so supported and provided for. And the amount that we believe that and believe in the magic is the amount that we'll experience it. So just this infinite stretch into our infinite capacity is just something so juicy about life. So thank you for sharing your delicious take on that and taste on that.
All of
I love it. I know that this is going to really be helpful to so many people and inspire them. And you're just such a light. So thank you so much, so much for coming on to this podcast. I love you. I appreciate you. Oh, sister, you're amazing. So
Thank you.
grateful.
What an honor. Seriously, what a privilege to be here. I'm just so grateful, and just your light, you're just the reflection of, whatever I have within me. And it's so beautiful to witness and to see. So thank you for this platform. Thank you for, being able to express our voices through your platform. And I'm so honored, so deeply honored to be in your presence. So thank you for being the bridge, my love. Thank you.
Don't make me cry.
I love you so.
Oh, what an honor. Thank you, my love. It is so co-created. Like you said with the book, it feels like it is a field of its own, and it is definitely not only mine. So I am deeply grateful and blessed and humble every day to be learning and receiving and giving and just playing in this infinite field that we get to exist in. So so much love. Love is the key, love is the answer. Remember it and go out and be it. Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of The Bridge. You are so valued and appreciated here, and I hope it helped bring light, love, clarity, and healing to your journey of remembering who you are. If you'd like to share feedback, have questions, want to collaborate, or request for a specific guest or episode topic, you can email us at the email below. To connect with us on socials or to work with me one-on-one, you can head to the social medias in the description below. If you'd like to donate to support our mission to share love, peace, and unity on this planet, you will find a link for that as well. You can always reach out via email to ask us how you can support what we are currently doing in the world. Remember, together we are better and truly can do so much. Now it's that time. Go live this new wisdom you received here in your life. Share it, integrate it, pass it on. Your ripples are powerful and needed, and you have a unique way of sharing and being that only you can be. As always, take what resonates for you and leave the rest. You are sovereign. You are the magic wand. You are the bridge to experiencing the world that you want. You are the conductor of your destiny. See it, choose it, speak it, feel it, believe it, know it, and go be it. Remember, it always starts with you. The universe is always on your side, and you are infinite. One love, and we'll see you in the next one.